Hello, peoples. Hello, hello, hello. Time is 8:01. I'm gonna timestamp this so anyone who catches it on the stream will be able to just go straight to where we get started, the good stuff. All right. I won't be staying on too late tonight because I got stuff to prepare for, and of course tomorrow's group chat. I have tomorrow's group chat, so if you're catching this on the stream, if you're unable to make it to tonight's live, that's perfectly fine. Tomorrow is the group chat. Reminder emails will be sent out in case anybody wants to join the group chat tomorrow. And yeah. So we're just going to give it about a few more minutes, let some more people come in, and then I'll just get started. Even if I'm in an empty room, because quite frankly, I've taken in the habit of talking to myself.
I was noticing that. I was like, is it just me or is it empty?
Yeah, no. I mean, I hope that it's not because YouTube is putting 6 p.m. when people already know that I come on at 8. Because 6 p.m. I'm like barely on my way home from work. So, but if you're new, if you're here and you are new to the channel, this is in Narc Survival 101. This is pretty much a channel where we are learning the survival skills and learning the pertinent information that we need to know with regards to dealing with narcissistically abusive relationships, domestically abusive relationships, and of course, any other kind of nonsense people try to bring. Hi, Cicely. Hi, Ty. All right, so anyone who is new, hi, Stephen. How are you, sweetheart? Anyone who's new or anyone who's just browsing through, happens to pass by, that's what it's all about. This is a no nonsense channel. This is a tell it like it is. This is a I'm going to give it to you straight, no chaser. I've been doing it for so long. So why stop now, right? And, just to kind of help, especially those who are just going through a discard, going through the motions for the first time, trying to get in some guidance, some insight. I mean, that's what we're here for. Okay. Hi, Kareem. How are you, sweetheart? If you guys noticed, yes, I did a new look with my hair. I'm not people are telling me you ain't gonna stop until you shave all your hair off, right? But I mean, hair is hair, so it grows back. And Amanda, she did a nice little what is that referred to as?
Sort of like a buzz cut.
A buzz cut, like on the sides and in the back. So underneath, I have literally like a peach fuzz, and I got some length on the top, and I really like it. So I'm going to the barber on Sunday. What the hell is that? Yo, I told you. Oh man, I already got stuff falling. I don't know where that came from. Something's here. Thank you, Cicely. Oh, I'm sorry, Ty, Cicely, sweethearts, honey boos. What's going on? Mis amores, if that's what you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Thank you, Kareem. Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to the barber on Sunday, guys, and I'm gonna have them clean it up for me and do my sides. So it's gonna stay long on the top, and then just the sides and the back are pretty much gonna be shaved off. And I gotta tell you, I see why you guys get haircuts now, because my head feels so much lighter. I mean, I have a big head, so but I see why you guys like to get your haircut. So you guys know I love you. You guys already know that I love you guys, okay? You guys are my family. You are my family. So guys, I hope you guys had a beautiful week. The weather's been kind of crazy over here. Been really, really windy over here. Unnaturally windy over here. But so far, so good. So I hope you guys had a good week. I had a very tiring week. I worked a lot, but I got a lot done. So productivity is always it's always great. Always a good thing. So I'm just waiting for a few more people to just get in and then we'll get started. But I was going to say something and then that over there just something I don't know, guys, something's in my house. I don't know. I don't know. It the bag was just sitting there. Yeah, it was just sitting there and all of a sudden it just toppled over like that. Like I told you I wasn't seeing things. I wasn't going crazy. Hi Sky, how are you? Yeah, there's something I don't know, something fell over there. I told you I wasn't hearing things and whatever is here, you don't pay rent, you need to get out. Ty, I'm not grooming no new supplies. Okay, I don't do supply. I hope you guys have also been keeping track of the Johnny Depp defamation trial. This should be very interesting when she goes on the stand. And I really say that I think they should have let her go first. I think they should have let her go first. That's my opinion. I think that you should have, had that person come on the stand first because she's clearly making notations of everything. That's probably what she's writing down. Like, okay, planning things out on what, she probably needs to fabricate even more or possibly make up stories. And my personal opinion is they should have put her on the stand first and then. But we'll see what happens with it. Hope I'm rooting for Johnny Depp. He seems like a very humble, a very soft spoken man, and he's just very broken. So I'm hoping that he gets this outcome that he needs, and he just he finally got to speak his truth. He got to speak on the abuse he was enduring. And yes, just so we can reiterate, men get abused too. Men get abused too, guys. It's not just women. Men get abused also. We are aware of that. And, I try to speak on it as much as I possibly can, especially in talking about female narcissists, because, you know, female narcissists, they get away with a lot of things. Like what was I watching? I think I was watching Seinfeld. And in one of the episodes, George was like, yeah, she's so beautiful. She can get away with murder. Like beautiful women can get away with murder. And it's crazy because there's some truth to that. You got women who can like seduce people and, just get away with so much. So you guys please discern. Please keep your eyes, your ears open. Please pay attention to the red flags. You know, I do not physical violence, I don't condone any of that. Whether it be a man to a woman or a woman to a man, I don't condone any of that. But if you're dealing with a female who is getting a little too comfortable, or even if it's the first time putting their hands on you, that's a red flag right there. That's a red flag right there. Okay. That's trying to control you by force. And you have females that try to do that. They figure, well, you're not going to put your hands on me. Or if you do react or respond to my physical abuse, I'll just simply call the cops and put you out there to be the abuser. It's just very, very slippery with that. So please be very, very careful with that. Oh, okay, okay, Sky. Thank you for coming, hon. Thank you for coming. Yeah, yeah. Ty says, facts. Remember the teacher who got sentenced to house arrest because the lawyer says she's too pretty to go to prison? It's, look, I'm not downplaying men. I would never downplay men. I'm raising a man. But at the end of the day, you know, society has been pretty much, which has been portrayed for, for centuries. It's been portrayed that, the men are the hunters and the gatherers, and they're the macho ones, and they're the more, physical ones, and they can pretty much fend for themselves because they have more, you know, they have more strength on a physical level. And that may, in most cases be true. But when you're dealing with the kind of, when you're dealing with the woman, I told you guys, they go with the narratives. They run with the narratives of women are weak, we're weak, we're weak, we're weak. And even though society likes to look at it that way, we may, what we lack in one aspect, we can excel in another. And this is why I continuously, express when it boils down to female narcissism, female sociopaths, female psychopaths, and in this case, a female who has borderline personality disorder, histrionic personality disorder, very charming people. They could be charming people. They can seem like normal people. They could seem like the kind of people but they're very intoxicating because they're toxic. These are personality disorders. These are not compliments. These are not compliments. Okay. These are dysfunctions, distortions in the personality. And everything they do is a projection onto their target. All right. When you're dealing with someone who has borderline personality disorder, you're dealing with someone who has severe internal struggles with identity, with self-esteem, with fears. They have severe struggles, and they can become very manipulative. They can become because when you have someone who is scared to lose control, if you have someone who's afraid to lose the spotlight, or who's afraid to lose the attention and the focus of others, they will resort to manipulative tactics to keep it intact. They will resort to that. And this is all simply because of their insecurities, their fears. Their self-sabotaging behaviors are because of their distorted personality, their distorted way of thinking about themselves. Think about why a narcissist, or anyone with a personality disorder, why they project onto you. They project onto you because they fear that that's exactly what it is you think about them. How they think about themselves, they fear that other people think that way about them too. That's why they project. That's why they try to hurt you before you can hurt them. They try to, they try to go for the jugular before you can have the opportunity to severely hurt them. And often people who are targets in this situation, people who become victims in this situation, don't know the ins and outs, don't know the severity of the inner turmoils that they face. And because they don't know these things, they don't know how to utilize their power in the situation, which is what makes you become a victim. Okay? You don't know these things because you don't, listen, you're not sitting there reading books about narcissists and borderline personality disorder and psychopaths and sociopaths. You're not sitting there thinking these things about your partner. You're not thinking these things about your family members. You're just thinking, okay, something, it could be a number of reasons. Oh, they had a rough upbringing, or they were having a really crappy day, and they're venting. Know the difference between someone venting to you and someone projecting onto you. There's a big difference. Hey, Gil. Oh, Sky, no problem. I'm glad it could, and I mean what I say, if you have to listen, if you are dealing, and this is for anyone who's dealing, I feel like I have like a hair or something in my nose. I'm sorry, guys, but it's annoying the hell out of me. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. Just give me 1 second. It feels like a hair or something. It's just like, oh, okay. I have something in my face.
So
Okay. I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm very transparent with you guys, so please don't mind me. Don't mind me. What? It was itching my nose.
It's like West today.
You know what? There you go. There you go, Ty. Present for you. But as I was saying, you know, if you're dealing with emotions, currently dealing with emotions, currently dealing with the pain of the aftermath of dealing with a narcissistic relationship, being narcissistically abused, if you're dealing with all of these things, you know, often people could say, well, listen, think positive, you know, do this, do that. Like they can recommend so many different things for you. And I'm one who says, listen, now is your chance and now is your time to come into the level of acceptance. Come into the level of facing your reality. Your reality is this happened. Okay. It did happen. They are who they are. All right. And no, it has nothing personally to do with you. It should not, it should not be taken personal because them projecting onto you has absolutely nothing to do with you. Hi, Stella. Hi, sweetheart. It has absolutely nothing to do with you. If you have to sit in it for a bit, sit in it for a bit. Okay. Absorb what happened, feel what happened. All right. You don't have to stay in that forever, but it's better to go through it now than drag it on and continuously allow it to just take over your life, take over everything that you're trying to accomplish, because you won't accomplish much if you're continuously allowing it to dictate your life. Anyone who's dealing with a discard, anyone who's going through it, you know write it out, feel the pain. You're going to feel anger, you're going to feel hurt, you're going to feel depression, you're going to feel all of these things. Okay, you're going to feel anxiety, you're going to feel yourself, being, adjusting, because what it is that you're also coming out of your comfort zone. Remember, narcissistic discard is now, it's pretty much where you're coming out of your comfort zone, because you are now being placed from being in something routine, something that you were, dealing with for, a certain period of time with a person or people, and you're now being pushed, you're being forced out of your comfort zone, because now you have to face the separation of not being with that person or not being around those people. Now you have to basically go into a position or go into a place where you didn't choose to be, but this is where you are. And now you have to choose how you want to handle that. Do you want to stay stuck in that? Do you want to continuously go into those toxic cycles with the same person or the same people? Or do you want to get up out of it and just move in your own direction? I never, ever, ever said, and nor will I ever say that it's going to be easy, because it's not. It is not easy. None of it is easy. But, if it's too easy, then that means it's not really worth it. So if you have a choice to take the long road or the short and easy road, which one do you think is going to benefit you more? It's not about what looks more idealistic or what looks more tempting or what looks better. It's what's actually going to help you in your healing. Okay. What people don't realize, when they come out of narcissistically abusive relationships, domestically abusive relationships, the type of toxic relationships that are just really no good for them, what people don't realize is a lot of them take that easy road, which is why they end up back in the same type of relationship with the same type of people, instead of taking the longer road, because the longer road doesn't look appealing. We're impatient. We're human. We're impatient people. We want to heal. One, two, three. Okay, let's move on to the next person or move on to the next thing. It doesn't work that way. You want effective healing. You want to be able to move on from the situation. You want to be able to, get over that person and that situation you've endured. You're going to have to take the long road, because in taking the long road, That requires healing, which requires actually living in your pain, living through the sorrow and the depression and the withdrawals and the anxiety, everything. Feel it, feel it, live it, breathe it, eat it, bathe in it. Okay? When you work out, when you go to work out at the gym, what are you doing? You're tearing muscles, right? That's why you're so sore. You're so sore because you're tearing muscles when you work out. But eventually, you do it long enough, what are you doing? You're forming. You're forming your physique. It's the same thing with healing. It's the same exact thing with healing. You are forming. You're recreating yourself. You are forming. You're basically bringing yourself to form into the creation that you want to be. But it takes having to go through the pain. You have to go through the pain. No pain, no gain, right? So in order for you to gain out of this, but you have people who want to, I want to forget about it. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to be there. I don't want to, I just don't want to think about it. I'm sorry to say, but you're going to be thinking about it. You are going to be thinking about it. You're going to go to bed at night and it's going to hit you to the point where you may not even be able to fall asleep. You might not fall asleep till 3, 4 in the morning. And then it's boom, it's time for you to get right back up to go to work. You're going to feel that. You're going to feel the heartache. You're going to feel waking up and maybe crying in the middle of the day or crying during your shower or even while brushing your teeth. You're going to feel these things. And it's okay. You're going to have moments of anger. You're going to feel angry. Something may pop up in your head and you might get pissed off and just want to wring someone's neck. Feel it. You have to. Okay? But don't let it consume you. Do not let it consume you. Do not let it have you sit there and just wallow in depression and say, okay, this is my life. This is just how it's going to be. This is the rest of my life. No, doesn't have to be that way. And I know for, some people, because everybody's on their in different parts of their journey, different parts of their healing. Everybody's in a different stage of their life. But it does not mean that, a year has gone by and I'm still hurting from this. Okay, you're still hurting from it. Okay, so what's the problem? But when is it going to be over? It's over when your mind, your heart, your body, and your soul says it's over. People set time frames. A lot of people like to set time frames when it boils down to healing. Well, it's been 6 months. How come I'm still thinking about it? Because you invested a lot of your time, you invested your emotions, you invested a lot of different aspects of that relationship. And to think, I would honestly say, in my honest opinion, if you've been with someone so long and you invested so long and yet you have been narcissistically abused and discarded, 6 months is not enough time. Not after everything you've put into that relationship and everything you've had to endure. No, it's not. But people want to just get it over and done with. I just want to get over it. I just want to get out of it and just move on, and that's it. I want to move on and not think about the person. And again, you're going to think about the person. Even if in the future you end up thinking about the person, or if something comes to something comes to mind, or something presents itself to you and it brings you back to, to that person or those people that you were dealing with, it's going to happen. Okay, it's called a memory. You can't lose that memory, because that memory is what pretty much has constructed the most pivotal time of your life. It's what put you, listen, I am where I am today, and I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't think about the situation. I didn't think about the person. I didn't think about how they treated me. I didn't think about how they, how they talked to me. I didn't think about how they projected onto me. I'd be lying to you if I told you I didn't do these things. Of course I do these things. I'm reminded every single day. Every single day I'm reminded. But the response, the effect, the results, it's not negative. It's not negative for me. It's positive. Because of that situation happening, I broke codependency. Because of that situation happening, I know what I deserve. Because of that situation happening, I now realize that shit, I don't even need to be in a relationship. I don't fear being alone. And I get up every single day doing everything I need to do for myself, my child, and yet I can still do everything I need to do for other people who need help in understanding these things. So yeah, I'd be lying to you if I told you I didn't think about the situation or think about what happened. I do. I'm reminded every single day, but I don't think about it in the sense of I'm ruminating because, oh my gosh, I still want this relationship, or I still want to be in this person's life, or I still want this and I still want that, and maybe there's a chance for this and maybe that. No, no. I mean, to be quite honest with you, that thought hasn't even crossed my mind. It's more about shit. I'm stronger now. I'm much stronger. I wake up every day feeling good. Well, kind of tired and groggy, and sometimes I don't want to go to work, but still, who doesn't? Really? Who does want to go to work? But I think about what it has taught me and where it put me today. It put me here to the point that I'm like, yo, I'm feeling myself a little too much. But I'm still humble. I'm still humble with it. But I felt the pain. I lived through it. I sat through it. I let it, I listen, I let it cradle me at night. I let it cuddle with me. I had to, because there was no way I was going to avoid it. There was no way. No matter where I looked, pain was just popping up behind the bushes. Wherever I went, pain was creeping around, looking to see where I was. You can't avoid it. You cannot avoid it. Okay. And if you don't feel it, if you don't feel pain, if you don't feel anything, then you were not as invested as you thought. Because narcissistic abuse has very severe effect. It has a very severe effect on people, especially people who had good intentions, people who were genuine, and people who were truly invested in these relationships. It's going to happen. And it's okay. It is okay. Hey, Butch. Cicely, once you accept your flaws and get over it, then you can work on your weak areas. Absolutely. Yes, I had people tell me, wow, you still thinking about him? You need to move on. First off, I'm not thinking about him. I'm thinking about what he did to me. And that's the thing that people don't understand. And listen, Sky, even if you still have feelings for him, even if you still cared about him, that's not something you could just shut off like that. That's not something you could just shut off overnight. Okay? That's something that they do, which is what makes them less human, which is why people who've been victims of people at the hands of narcissistic people, or anyone who suffers a personality disorder or mental illness, yes, they're dehumanized people because they dehumanize people. Even if you thought about that person and said, damn, I hate the fact that I still love this person, that's okay. That is okay. I'm not here to tell you that you're wrong for ever feeling that way. And I'm not going to tell you that you were ever wrong for even thinking that way. You were invested. You were invested in the relationship. You were investing your time, your efforts, your finances, whatever. You were investing because you thought highly of this person. And at the end of the day, even though everything happened the way it did, you have every right to be angry. You have every right to feel the way you do. And yet, even if you still feel that you are still, connected to this person, that you still care and love this person, that doesn't go away overnight. That really doesn't. And that's the part that makes you human. That makes you human. You understand. Okay, I know I'm gonna be pissed off. I know that I need to stay away from this person. I know for a fact that this person is no good for me. Yes, I still do love them, but it was the person you thought they were. It was who you thought they were that you were in love with. And again, It's okay to still feel that way because you're getting through your emotions. Over time, that subsides, you know? So if you fall in love with people, just like you fall in love with people, you can fall out of love with people. It happens. It does happen. It just takes time. Is there a reason why? I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. If you could just give me 1 minute. Hi, Jennifer. No, Stella, most people don't. They don't understand the effects that narcissistic abuse has. And it can cause a lot of damage, not only on clearly on a psychological level, but on an emotional level. You know, these people these people can, completely damage your perception. And it's crazy because I know their perceptions were altered and damaged, in their upbringing or how they had relationships. I know that for a fact, but it's crazy how they create victims. They create victims and they can really distort the victim's perception, the perception on love. They can really, the victims. This is what a victim of narcissistic abuse develops. They develop severe trust issues. That's number one. Extremely severe trust issues. This is a part of having PTSD. You have severe trust issues. You get paranoia. You pretty much convey the signs of what a narcissist conveys. Believe that or not. Believe it or not, okay? A narcissist can be paranoid. A victim of abuse, after everything's said and done, becomes paranoid. They become paranoid. They become, very suspicious of people. Their trust issues are through the roof. They're very guarded. Okay. They could be mean spirited if, again, these are the effects of abuse. Okay. They can become, a recluse. They can basically like detach from the world in that sense of, like have no emotional attachments. And you can even have victims after dealing, excuse me, probably shouldn't have had those pretzels. After detaching from, or even being discarded after narcissistic abuse, you have people who become completely apathetic. They become apathetic, even if it's short term. Apathy, meaning the opposite of empathy, meaning I don't care about you and your feelings or, what you want. I just want to soothe my pain and, just get out of this funk and get out of these motions, just get what I want out of a situation, and that's it. This is why I tell people, precisely why I tell people, do not start anything with anybody else after being discarded, after breaking up with someone, period. Don't enter into anything with anyone else. You need to give yourself time to heal and process what you have gone through. Victims of narcissistic abuse can actually display behaviors that a typical narcissist would display as well. It can happen. Thank you, Jennifer. Give me 1 second. I want to make sure. Hi, Kara. Yeah, yeah, Stella. The push and pull, and again, that's another manipulation tactic. It's that hot and cold. 1 minute they give you they give you the cold shoulder, and then the next minute they're, all lovey-dovey with you, or I miss you, or I love you, or whatever. And then the next minute they're, detached, they're emotionally distant, and then the next minute it's just, and the reason these things have worked on, on so many people is because there is a sense of there's something in the person. First of all, people would not know how to operate you unless they had the manual. Okay, they would not know how to operate you unless they had the manual. And I tell people this all the time. I'm not deflecting blame. I am not saying that it was your fault. I'm not saying any of these things. But in order for them to learn how to operate you, your emotions, and operate everything in your dynamic, there had to have been something there, whether it be a small insecurity, whether it be a question mark, whether it be a small display of trust issues, whatever the case may be. Okay? They know how to operate, because if you have someone who comes from a very secured attachment, their family was pretty much, secured background. Parents were very emotional, empathetic, very supportive, taught their children how to decipher certain things. I mean, the chances of you finding that now, not as great, but you can still find that. You know, you can tell when someone is trying to, like me, for example, I can now tell if someone's trying to play me. Like, don't try to play me. Don't try to run that game on me. I'm with the semantics. Say it however way you want to say it. It's still gonna come out the way I interpret it to come out, because I know how to I know how to pretty much read people. And I know, like, when people say certain things, I know when someone is trying to flip it on me without it being noticeable. When they're trying to covertly flip things onto me, or if they're trying to make me feel guilty about something, or if they're trying to make me feel some kind of way because of something they did, or whatever the case may be. No. And I was just talking to Amanda about it just a few minutes ago, when I said, people will try, I'm pretty sure, because yes, people are watching me. I know there are people watching me, people who do not follow me for the same purposes that you follow me, but they study me. I know this for a fact. I'm not stupid. I know people are watching me to study me. They're watching me to possibly see me slip up, or whatever the case may be. It's not going to happen, because when you're genuine, you don't slip up. You really don't. Okay? But it's about saying what you need to say, doing what you need to do. In this case, the things that I do now, I never really applied it to my life before. I was insecure. I was anxiety ridden. I had codependency issues. Okay. I had trust issues. I had all the reasons, and that's crazy. I had all the reasons not to trust people, but I still went out there into the world and gave the benefit of the doubt, all to continuously be disappointed, continuously be hurt, and be treated like a piece of trash. But now I learned from it, and now I no longer allow that to happen. Okay? It's to the point that people get intimidated by me. And that's not my fault, by the way, just so we understand that. Okay? Anybody who's intimidated by me, that's not my fault. I don't want to hear it. But it's to that point that they don't even want to approach me or say anything to me, or, try anything, because for fear of, well, I'm not a perfectionist. I'm really not a perfectionist. But I am one who's, precise in the things that I do. And I do like things done the right way. But I pay very close attention to how people speak to me, how people are, their body language, their energy. The minute someone decides to if they want to get aggressive, or if they want to get hostile, or if they want to get, if they even remotely try to project onto me, I'm dismissing them. There is no, oh, well, I'll sit here and entertain it. No, you're dismissed. Okay? Classes, classes out. School's out. You're dismissed. Ding, ding, ding. Hear the bell? The fuck out of my face. That's it. There is no arguments. There is no, oh, well, you need to, no, I don't need to do anything. I don't need to do anything. And I will not do what I don't want to do. Just like it's, what? I think it's about time that it gets flipped around. They don't want to do what they don't want to do, what they don't need to do. So why should we do what we don't want to do, or what we don't need to do? I'm just saying. Exactly, Kara. Exactly. You get to that point. I'm already beyond that point, guys. I'm beyond the point of I just don't care anymore. Like, not that I don't care, but it's to a certain extent. If it ain't affecting me, if it ain't affecting my kid, if it ain't affecting my money, if it ain't affecting, the people I care about, it doesn't matter to me. It does not matter to me. And you have people who have gone through what we have gone through, what so many other people have gone through, and they've actually allowed it to consume their lives. They allowed it to take over their lives. And it's sad, but um I don't know, it's Star Wars. Can you see it? It's I don't know, it was given to me as a gift and I was wearing it. So it's a Star Wars sweater. And I'm not a big fan. My son is a huge fan of Star Wars. He's the Star Wars junkie, not me. I can't sit 3 hours to watch a movie. Yeah, I believe it. Yeah. And I notice when I'm walking down the street, people are looking at me. They're looking at my sweater like, are you a Star Wars nerd? And I'm like, no, it's kind of chilly. I'm wearing the sweater. Leave me alone. I have to pull out my lightsaber. Yeah, nah. Estella says I do too, Eric. I listen and look for red flags. If they are love bombing or over the top flattery, or if they are a victim. And whichever way you look at it, they're still toxic for you. Whether they're a victim or they are, superficially charming. Okay? You got to remember, if you're dealing with someone who was, the recipient of the narcissistic abuse, and they're the ones who haven't gone through their full healing, not a good idea to mess around with them either. It's not a good idea. Okay? Because they will end up projecting onto you too. They will project onto you, and that's what creates those endless cycles of toxic relationships. Too many people too focused on trying to be in a relationship, trying to be involved with other people, trying to utilize external sources to soothe them when they need to be doing it themselves. And you got to understand too, guys, these are people. I mean, we're all adults, but a lot of these are people who did not have their needs met when they were kids. They really didn't have their needs met. So when it came to being an adult, you know, that was the one thing they craved that most, was to have their needs met. Whether they be, just codependence or narcissistic codependence. It could be either way. They were not soothed by the people or the, person that they were supposed to be soothed by. So they end up seeking external people to take care of that for them. And it's not right. It's not right if the parents are not doing what they have to do by their children emotionally, mentally. It's not right. But it's not other people's responsibilities either. Okay? And that's something where that person standing in the middle has to basically come to terms with: my parents didn't do it for me. My parents never gave it to me, you know, and clearly it's not that person's responsibility. So I'm just gonna have to work on trying to do it myself, but in a healthy way. This is what a narcissist is. A narcissist feels like, well, I'm out for myself because they're in survival mode. Okay. A narcissist is pretty much someone who endured lack of sympathy, empathy, love, emotional connection, okay, fulfillment, attention. They basically were deprived of all of these things. So what they did was they were like, screw it, I'm just going to become self sufficient. I'm going to do it on my own. I'm going to get me and mine. And then they basically put themselves in the position to say, I'm all about me. Your feelings don't matter to me. What you need doesn't really matter to me. And if what you need I have it, I'll give it to you, but just understand this is transactional. You will owe me this. That's the way it works for them because they're out for themselves. They're out for themselves. If you got a problem, your problem's not as big as theirs. Okay? If you had a death in the family, well, compared to their life and everything they experienced, that's nothing. You're having a bad day? Well, your bad day was not as bad as mine. If they're having a bad day, yeah, they'll project onto you. If you're having a bad day and you're releasing, you're venting and possibly taking it out on them, all of a sudden you got mental issues. You're toxic. You're no good. Oh, I need to get away from you because it's not good for my mental health. Really? Really? They're one-sided people, man. They're one-sided people. They care about no one but themselves. Okay? You get sick? Yeah, okay, good luck. Good luck with that. Okay? You're better off going to the worst hospital in your neighborhood to take care of you. Because a narcissist, if they take care of you, it's because they fear being criticized or because eventually you're going to give them something in return for it. That's something they can hold over your head. Listen, if they do things for you guys, don't think that it's all because, it's because, yeah, it could be because you have to, eventually give them back in return for it, but it's also because they have something to hold over your head. They have something to throw in your face. And when the time comes, they're going to use it against you. And they can pretend they have your problems and it's worse when they don't. Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because in the trial, the psychologist, she said that, borderlines often mimic their partners because they have, listen, we know that people with a personality disorder suffer issues with identity, right? They don't really know their identity. They don't really have an identity for themselves. And because they're internally miserable with themselves, they end up picking up, behaviors and patterns and they end up basically mimicking their partner or mimicking the person or people that they find themselves, in that particular environment. And if you notice that during your relationship or even in whatever relationship you have with a narcissistic person, they were doing things for you, they were doing nice things for you, you know it often came as a way of where it's kind of like it was something that was mimicked. So if you did something nice, yeah, they would do something nice because they have to keep up with that, especially if they want something grand or if they want something great or they want something bigger. So those little gifts, those little gestures or whatever, it would be like pulling a tooth, maybe a baby tooth out, but compared to the bigger picture of things, okay, they will mimic you. They mirror you. They mirror your mannerisms. They mirror your style. They mirror how you talk, everything. They mirror you. And if you notice, if you see them doing certain behaviors when it came around the time of your discard, they're mirror like they were doing different behaviors, or if you notice certain things were changing about them, or you couldn't put your finger on it, it's because if they're discarding you for someone else, they're mirroring that next person. They are mirroring that next person. So the activities they have with that next person, that's what you're seeing because they're grooming someone else. My Hold on one second. And Zook 665. I'm good, hon. How are you? Hold on. I saw a comment from Sky. I want to make sure I read it right. Also, there are a lot of narcissists are fairly successful as far as financially and material purchasing. However, a lot of them do not. Those are high functioning. You have narcissists who are high functioning. They're and sociopaths and psychopaths. Where they become successes in their life. They could be rich. They could be famous. They don't have to be bums on the street. They don't have to be, someone who only makes, 10, $12 an hour or, makes nah. They could be highly successful. Listen, you got very powerful people, okay? Very powerful people who would fall under the line of narcissist, sociopath, and psychopath. Yes, yes, you have very powerful people. Narcissistic abuse, narcissism, and it's clear because look at what's going on in that trial. It doesn't just happen to us regular folk. It happens to people in power. Hitler was a narcissistic sociopath. Okay? He was a narcissistic sociopath. He was very powerful. Okay, he had the attention of his country. He was a dictator. He massacred so many people. He was a narcissistic sociopath. It doesn't just have to be people who are just in our class. Okay, it doesn't have to be just a boyfriend or a girlfriend. It doesn't have to be someone who probably didn't know how to balance a checkbook or probably didn't know how to manage money. That's one of the classifications of how a narcissist is because they're irresponsible. They are very irresponsible. Irresponsibility can be a number of things. It could be in finances. It can be in other aspects of the relationship. You have high functioning people, okay, just like you have high functioning autism, you have high functioning narcissists, high functioning sociopaths, okay, who literally live their lives in denial. This chick on trial is in denial. She's in clear denial. All of this stuff is playing right in front of her, right in front of her face. And instead of trying to settle things, instead of trying to say, okay, you know what, look, I'm busted, I'm caught, they will fight you to the end. Even if they're wrong, even if they're lying, they will not stop. They won't stop. You catch them in a lie, they're going to find another way to cover that up with another lie. They will not admit. I was having a conversation with one of my relatives earlier today. They will not admit when they are wrong. They will not admit to defeat because that will cause them shame. And shame, admitting that they're wrong, it's all a sign of weakness. They're very deluded people. Okay? Deny, deny, deny. That is their MO. That's their way of living. What did he say? Hmm.
He just said,
He deleted it or you? Why?
he's been on
All right, well, Andrew, my name is Erica. All right, so you can call me by my name. Everybody here knows my name. It's Erica. Um, and you can send me the questions on my Instagram through the private message. Thank you, Karen. Thank you so much. I'm sorry. I just want to make sure. What happened? My ex put a pillow on my face and begged me and cried to stay. Why did he do that? I honestly think, and here's what I've learned about this whole trial thing, and of course, what I'm still learning with because again, and this is why I want to say, guys, don't just check off narcissist, okay? Don't check off narcissistic. All right. People who suffer personality disorder, chances are they have other disorders that accompany it. Okay. They probably have other disorders. And again, you know, broaden your mind to the idea that it might not be narcissism. I say this all the time. I'm going to say it again. You have to keep an open mind that there are other personality disorders that resemble narcissism, that resemble narcissistic personality disorder. Okay? Antisocial personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, histrionic personality disorder. Those are all other disorders that fall under the same cluster, that fall in the same category. Okay? And the primary thing, well, the important thing that we have to remember is look at the behaviors, the patterns of these behaviors. Write them down. If you have to, write them down. Note them down on your phone, because then you can piece everything together. Listen, a lot of people looked at Amber Heard and said, she's a narcissist. I said, by her behavior, she seems more like a borderline. They look the same. The behaviors look the same. The characteristics that make up these other personality disorders are a lot like the character. There, a lot of them are the same as narcissistic personality disorder behaviors. This is why I tell people, please be sure to do all of your research. So if you're going to look up NPD, look up BPD, look up histrionic, look up antisocial personality disorder. You have to look up, if you're going to look up one, you got to look up the other ones, because that's just one pot. That is one pot. Okay. And at the end of the day, you could be dealing with the borderline. Listen, I'm not here to diagnose anyone. I'm not here to diagnose. I'm not here to say who is who and what is what. I am no one to do any of those things. Often people get narcissistic personality disorder and borderline mixed up. They get those two, and even listen, even professionals can do that too. Okay? They can misdiagnose because they're so similar. They are so damn similar. When you're thinking you're dealing with a narcissist, you're thinking you're dealing with a borderline. And borderlines on a danger level, they're a lot more dangerous than narcissists. They are a lot more dangerous than narcissists. Borderlines, because of the out, the oh my gosh, I just went blank for a second. The outbursts, because of their emotional outbursts, because of their tendency to be violent. They can be very violent. Okay, their ways of thinking about themselves, they're distorted extremely. See, narcissists are more about, oh, everybody needs to give me attention. I'm better than you. I'm better than everyone else. Like, that's the depiction they put out there into the world. And of course, if you reject them, yeah, they do things to try to damage your reputation and so forth and so on. Borderlines, on the other hand, they have to literally they have to go and seek help and possibly get medication to help control their severe issues, their outbursts, their erratic behaviors. Okay? Be very careful with that, please. Be extremely careful with that, because you don't know. Borderlines, and even probably histrionics are more likely to threaten, self-harm, like to harm themselves. They may try to harm themselves to get people to stay. They may try to, harm the target to kind of put the fear in them if you leave, so to keep them to stay. And you would think, like, okay, well, why would they harm the person and then expect them to stay? It stands to reason that they would leave. They're not thinking like that. They are not thinking like that. They think if they harm the person or possibly harm themselves, that person will stay. That person will be with them for as long as they need them to be there. Hi, Heather. Hey, hon, how are you? I know it's been a while, but definitely keep an eye on that. Please keep an eye on that. And Sky, I could tell you that, that to me, I mean, clearly that person is unstable. He is a very, very unstable. Okay. And I'm pretty sure that there are other factors that play roles within, his upbringing and, of course, how his lifestyle was. But for someone to, you know, to utilize force, really try to force someone to stay in a situation. And by that, they use physical force, or they try to use threats, or they try to do things to make you feel, so afraid to leave that you feel like you have no choice but to stay, is clearly someone who is severely mentally unstable. Severely mentally unstable. And at the end of the day, they're unpredictable. Okay. Mentally ill people, mentally challenged people, mentally distressed people, mentally unstable people, however way we want to call them, they can be unpredictable. And it's just something that you don't want to face the consequences of dealing with that, of staying, if you decide to stay, because you just don't know what that outcome might be. It could be very scary. I'll share something with you guys. I don't know if I did, maybe, but maybe it bears repeating. The person I was with, the last person I was with, when everything happened, I did love the person. I really did. I really did. And I wanted, I did everything in my power to see that that person was happy. And I did everything in my power to show them that, I was I was someone worth being with. I was someone who would make them happy, or do my best to make them happy, and, not treat them like other people in their past or what have you. And of course, that was, primarily coming from me, but it was more so to give reassurance that, based on what that person told me about the people from their past, which, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the people you dealt with, I wanted that person to be reassured that, listen, I'm not here to screw you over. I'm not here to do any of those things. I'm here to care about you, love you, and see where it goes. But in the back of my mind, in seeing certain things, hearing certain things, learning certain things, there was a part of me that was very afraid of this person. I was like, I love them, but I was afraid. And I wasn't afraid because I had something to hide or anything like that, or, I was doing something I shouldn't have been doing, which wasn't the case. I was more so afraid because there was a part of me. There was Nice to meet you too, and Zoop, nice to meet you too. There was a part of me that saw a level of instability, and I don't know, it was kind of weird. It's weird to explain, but I felt I was in love with this person, but at the same time, I was fearful about something with this person, and I didn't know what it was. I couldn't, like, pinpoint it. I couldn't put my finger on it. It was just something that led me to feel this way. And I felt like that throughout the entire relationship. Like, it's kind of like knowing what someone may be capable of, or having the idea in your head, Like, this person is probably capable of strangling me in my sleep, or, snapping and possibly snapping my neck. Like, you think about those things. But that was the part of me that was like, and I used to try to brush it off, like, oh God, Erica, stop thinking like that. Don't think like that. Well, he wouldn't do that to you. He would, but there was that. It's kind of like having those two, the conscience. Like, you got the one on each side, and one side was telling me he's something ain't right. Something ain't right. But the other side was telling me, oh, but love him through his flaws. Love him through it all. I mean, he's not a bad guy. He's not. And I honestly didn't think he was a bad guy. I did not think that. Never said that. He was a horrible person. I never even gave him any indication of that in the relationship that he was. But there was always something where I felt like, damn, if I don't stay on point, or if I'm not doing something the way he would want it done, or if I'm not, anything. And he made it his business. He made it his business to show his aggression. In a sense, he made it his business to show, like, I can be real nasty, Erica. I can be really, really nasty. And it was to that point where I was like, okay, well, he could be really nasty, but I really don't want to know how much further it can go, you know? And again, maybe it was something that, at first I was saying to myself, maybe I'm just, I'm hallucinating. Maybe I'm, making things up in my head. I don't know. He never put his hands on me. He never put his hands on me. But I think in his mind, and this is just my opinion, he never felt the need to, because he already had enough control. He had enough control where I wouldn't fight him. I wouldn't fight with him. I would not fight him on whatever it was. It would never get to that point. Would it have gotten to that point if necessary? I don't know. But it's just in the back of my head and in my gut, I always felt like this person could be capable of doing something that could be potentially harmful to me, to himself. Hi, Andrea. And it was a fear that I stayed with. It really was a fear that I stayed with. And yet, even after being discarded, I still tried to make it work. Am I like, and I thought maybe I'm masochistic. Maybe I'm a masochist, you know? Like, maybe I'm one of those people who likes to be abused. I thought that about myself too, guys. I'm not going to deny that. I thought that about myself. Maybe I'm someone who finds it more comforting to be in a relationship with people who reject me and disapprove of me, or feel the need to control me or control my emotions, because I'm so willing to give to them and I'm seeking approval. Yeah, yeah, Karen. And as much as I love the person, because I did, that fear, it was just that fear. It lingered around me and I could not understand why. I could not understand why. I really couldn't. You know what, Heather? I figured as much, that it was my level of codependency, and that probably played a very big role in my situation, because of the fact that, as much as that lingering thought in the back of my head had me thinking that this person can do some serious damage, this person can, maybe do something on a psychotic level or a sociopathic level, that yet I still wanted to maintain the relationship and be with that person. What does that say about me? And I sat there and I thought about that too. I'm like, what does that say about me? Yes, Karen, fear can be intoxicating. And and this is why a lot of people can't like really explain themselves or explain why it is they can't seem to leave a situation, because it's like this person probably has the ability to do some serious harm to me, but yet I'm in love with them, or at least I thought I was. At least I thought I was. I everything happened gradually. It wasn't like we rushed into anything. It wasn't like a two ships passing. It was something that was it built over time. But that lingering fear, that fear lingered around me throughout our relationship. It lingered. It sat there, and I could not shake it off. Where I felt like I needed to be on my toes. I had to be on my toes. Oh my God, he's coming. I'm scrambling around, fixing things up, doing whatever, you know? Or he's picking me up from work. Oh, I got to make sure everything's done because I got to be in. And it's like, I didn't want to, I don't know. I don't know what it was. But there was a part of me that felt like it was kind of poking at me like, thank you, Enzu, thank you so much. It was the part of me that was poking at me, that was making me feel like uneasy, uncomfortable. And guys, if you feel certain things, if that's your gut, TW, do you think being with your ex, it did. It did. Yes, it did. I mean, I had insecurities. I had my own insecurities, and I had probably had some low self-esteem, which we all. But I think after the discard, it really hit me hard. Like really hit me hard. I felt so undesirable. I felt so unloved, so unwanted. I felt unknown. I felt like I I just didn't amount to anything, you know? And the level of their actions, because you got to remember their actions also, they know what they're doing when they're triangulating, when they are giving you the silent treatment, and they're making you feel like you don't exist to them. They're making you feel like you are only there for their convenience. And by that, I mean when they're breadcrumbing you, even though they're, online or out there doing other things with other people. I felt so belittled and so not myself, not happy, not emotionally well, not physically well. I was physically ill. Um, it really tore me down, tore me to pieces, really tore me up, And I'm not gonna put all the blame on them because I had my own insecurities, but his actions definitely put the nail in the coffin when it came to my low self-esteem, that I was just like, okay. And I sat in that for a while. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you. Why do they go to such great lengths to humiliate you? It's like a tantrum. Yeah, because they can't, clearly they can't live a life of defeat. It's like me be defeated, impossible. And they will do any and everything possible to make sure that it's your name that gets tarnished, or your reputation, or that they gain the emotional empathy and sympathy of other people. They get blind supporters. They have people who would side with them, you know and if we really think about it, you look back and you say, well, something, the reason I can't take any of this stuff personal anymore is because I'm like, man, you've been rejected throughout all your life. Not only that, but it takes a real insecure person to be a bully. That person has to be so insecure and just so riddled with trauma, and just the level of like immaturity that they possess. I look at it, I'm like, why am I going to take the responsibility of your immaturity? Why am I going to take the responsibility of your insecurity? I learned not to take it personal anymore. I really did. I've always been like, you know what? Doesn't mean anything to me anymore. It really doesn't. Mm-hmm. Heather says it was an addiction to the love you felt. They have to feel superior. Yeah, yeah. And they look down their nose at you. So when they're looking down their nose at you because you're kind of like you're the servant, I'll give you whatever you want. You're my queen, you're my king. There's nothing I wouldn't do. I literally stood there in front of that person and said the same thing. There's nothing I wouldn't do for you. And the basics, you just wanted the basics in return, right? Love, respect, decency, consideration, honesty, some form of fulfillment, something. It was just the basics. And their thing was, when I feel like I'm ready to do it, when I feel like you deserve it, when I feel, but you had to be on point with them. You had to give them when they wanted, how they wanted it. Okay. And if you didn't, then they would show it's kind of like I call it a growl, because I don't know if you've experienced that or not, but everybody's different in their own. It's kind of just like that. You get that sense of, oh, some shit's gonna blow up out of this. Something's gonna happen. If I don't do this or if I don't do that, I already could tell something is gonna go down or something's just you could just feel the energy. You could feel that dark, nasty energy. And it's like and it pushes you, in that fight or flight mode. It's kind of like, what do you end up doing? You end up giving in. You end up giving them what they want because you try to avoid fights. You try to avoid confrontation. You don't want to deal with the mouth. You don't want to deal with the nasty attitude. You don't want to deal with anything that, doesn't remotely deal with happiness, fun times, good loving. And that's how they manage to get it. My younger sister was diagnosed as sociopath. She's never had trauma, but she inflicts it. You know, when it boils to sociopaths, because a lot of it is usually trauma based, but when you have someone who and I think it could just boil down to because it's kind of like what I told you guys. You know, in the trial, the psychologist says, well, this chick has borderline personality disorder and histrionic personality disorder, but she does not display signs of PTSD. That, however, does not mean that she did not experience painful events, traumatic events. It just basically, I guess, means that she sustained things well and, it doesn't affect her in that aspect. So the trauma doesn't affect her on an emotional scale. Rather, it affects her just primarily in a psychological scale. And to be diagnosed as a sociopath, which clearly means is, antisocial personality disorder, the trauma in people's lives doesn't necessarily, although a lot of it does have a lot to do with, with the environment in the home. It does not necessarily have to be the environment in the home. It can be other aspects that is, influential. And because, these distortions, they come from somewhere. There is a source. There's a source to everything. Okay. You're not born, are you just born a narcissist? Are you born a codependent? No. There's a source for all of that. So, even so, there is a source as to why people become the way they do. Whatever that source may be, there is something that comes that comes along the way when someone is learning throughout their life, whether they be a child, a teenager, or an adult. You know, sociopaths, are classified as the kind of people who like to see other people suffer. They live off of other people's suffering. They like literally your suffering would make them happy. If you had a sociopathic friend, your friend would be content with your failures. They would be happy with the fact that you're not doing as good or you're not doing better than them. Instead of trying to encourage you and trying to move you forward or trying to, help you up in life, they're sitting there being happy and content with, you're a failure. You didn't succeed in this. They like to see people suffer. Female sociopaths have like that mean girls type of thing going on. And male sociopaths, I mean, well, there's so many different types of crazy men out there who can probably fall under the category sociopath, but you get what I mean. Heather, yes, it could be. Child abuse plays a big role. Parents play a big role. Environment plays a big role. Genetics also play a big role too. Genetics, because if you have a history of mental illness in your family, listen, someone has a personality disorder and they have, let's just say they have borderline bipolar disorder, right? Someone can be a bipolar and be a narcissist. Someone can be bipolar and be a sociopath. Okay? They can have more than one. It doesn't just have to be it doesn't have to just be a narcissist. It doesn't have to be someone with just one type of disorder. They can have several. They can have several. Yeah, see? Heather says my ex was bipolar and borderline. And that's a heavy combination. That's a heavy combination because medication is often prescribed by psychiatrists for people like this, because it helps keep the mood swings down. It helps keep the oh my gosh, what's the phrase for it? The episodes. I don't even know why I'm getting stuff for words. It keeps the episodes, to a minimum. This is why they say that people need to get professional help because it doesn't just necessarily have to be one personality disorder. Sky says they are soul suckers. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And again, it has nothing to do with you. It had nothing to do with you. If it wasn't going to be you, it was going to be somebody else. It would have been somebody else. I'm not saying that we're not, people, guys, that you're not special. I'm sure all of you, all of you are special. But to them, you are just someone who happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time meeting them. But if it wasn't going to be you, it was going to be someone else. Okay? So in the end, even if they left you for new supply, if they left you for somebody else, that person is going to go pretty much do the same thing. Maybe not as soon as you because of the whole discard, and of course the narcissist or the narcissistic person has to keep you guys separated, but yeah, they're going to go through it too. How do you know if someone cheats as a narcissist? Well, anybody, because cheating is a selfish act. It's a selfish act. But to know that they're a narcissist, they have to demonstrate 7 out of the 9 characteristics that define a narcissist. So they could just cheat and not be a narcissist. Okay, they could just be an asshole and cheat. They have to show the characteristics. So besides cheating, of course, which is a manipulator's MO, you have to really understand if if they display those characteristics, those main characteristics that classify a narcissist. But in the end, someone who cheats is simply a selfish person. It doesn't matter if they're a narc or not. They're just very selfish, and they make they made the choice to commit an act of betrayal. And if they showed no regard, if they showed no type of respect or whatsoever, it doesn't matter if they're a narc or not. They do not deserve to be in your life. Plain and simple. No contact is very hard. No contact is very hard. It's about willpower. Okay, you have to keep that willpower, even if it means reminding yourself over and over again why you're no contact. Okay, and you will probably make yourself upset or probably make yourself hurt more, but it's imperative that you stay no contact. Okay, their level of silent treatment, your level of no contact are two different things. You do no contact to protect yourself and to protect your mental health. They do silent treatment to keep control. It's to keep control over you, your emotions, and to make you react to whatever it is that whatever it is they're trying to achieve. So definitely don't make them a factor. Really don't. So guys, uh, I think somebody's smoking weed. I smell it coming in through my yard. I hate this. I can't stand the smell of that. I really can't. I'm not knocking anybody who smokes, but I can't stand the smell of it. It's just ugh. No contact 31 months now. That's awesome, Andrea. I remember, and Andrea, you've been around for a while. You've been around for a while, and I remember too because, I've definitely yeah, yeah, Stella, I can't stand it. I really can't. I don't knock anybody who smokes. If you smoke bud, weed, whatever, to each their own. Just don't do that around me, please, because it's just I cannot stand the smell of it. I seriously can't. Um, but yeah, I remember Andrea. It's been a road. It's been a road, and it definitely has been a journey for you. And because in the midst of starting the channel and doing, going through my healing, I remember you being here. So we were both on the same we were both on the same road. So that's very, very awesome. Very proud of you. Very, very proud of you. And Sky, I'm glad that you came tonight. I'm glad you joined us. You get to meet. I told you you have some really awesome people. There are usually more people, but I guess they couldn't make it tonight, which is fine. They'll probably catch it on the stream. Yeah, I'd rather smell cookies, cake, brownies. Speaking of which, let's want no brownies cooking. I'm a foodie. I rather smell food. I buy candles that smell like food. Okay, I have a candle up here that says caramel latte, another one that says pumpkin bourbon. I'm a foodie kind of person. I'll have my whole house smelling like food before I ever have it smelling like weed or anything like that. You don't smell that? It's disgusting.
You want
Disgusting.
brownies?
Hmm?
You want brownies?
I don't want brownies now. I'm too fat.
No. Yes or no?
No, I'm too fat.
Oh, you were insinuating that you want brownies.
Thank you, Andrea. I'm glad. I'm glad that you've come this far. You really, really, you've really come a long way, and I'm very proud of you for that. I truly, truly am. And I'm glad all of you guys can be a part of this and just helping to try to make a difference. I'm not here to gain popularity or fame or anything like that. I'm not. I'm just here to help whoever needs to help, needs help and answer whatever questions and help just help guide people that need to just get to where they need to go. That's all I'm here for. So, yeah, Sky, I told you they're awesome people here. Very supportive, they're very, very supportive and they're very welcoming, warm and welcoming. It's become like a close knit family. And I know TikTok, it's like a lot more people, way more people. But here it's more like just a really small, private, intimate, close knit family who just looks to help anybody who wants it, who needs the help. And they know what you're going through. They've been there, they've gone through it too, and You know, I'm glad you came out tonight. I really, really am. And you keep going, Stella. Stella's 17 months no contact. Keep going. You know, for anybody who's going no contact, anyone who just started no contact, anyone who's been no contact, keep on going because the no contact is pretty much meant to be there permanently. If you don't have kids with the person, you have no type of, assets or any other ties with the person or people, you have to just basically, if it's your family, you got to keep limited contact, do it at a distance. Don't allow them to try to, tell you, oh, well, we're family. You should do this and you should do that. You're supposed to not. Only thing I'm supposed to do is wake up in the morning, support, go to work, support my kid, eat, pay taxes, shit, and die. That's all I'm supposed to do. That is all I'm supposed to do. Cicely got 14 months. Cicely, another one. Cicely been a part of this for a long time too. You've been a part of this for a very long time. And I remember when you first started, it was a hard, rough start, but you got it, man. You got it. And look at where you are. Okay. So I'm very proud of you too. We got Kara. She has 1 year. Keep going. You see how when you guys in the beginning, when you were doing no contact, you saw how hard it was for you, right? Like, oh my gosh, can I do it? Am I gonna be able to do it? And look at you now.
Cicely was cutting grass. Remember, he was mowing the lawn,
It was cutting grass, and he was,
listening to us on his phone.
yeah. And look at where he got. He came a long way too, man. He really, really did. And he's been working on himself, and he still keeps going. And that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. Let the right person gravitate towards you. Okay. The right person, the person that you are, probably meant to be with. Hey, if you're meant to be with the person, they're going to come into your life regardless. Use this time for yourself. Use this time for yourself. Okay, guys? That person who's meant to be with you, who's going to do the total opposite of what your ex did, is going to gravitate towards you when the time is right. It's called divine timing. Okay. So you got to allow it to work in your life. In the meantime, until it happens, focus on you. Put all that focus on you. Okay. You had to focus. Think of it this way: you had to focus on healing, and then you had to, focus on getting through. Well, first of all, the discard, getting through the pain and the emotions. Then you had to start your healing. That takes work. That takes time. Now you get to just be by yourself and enjoy your time with yourself by yourself. Everything else will happen. Everything else will fall into its own place. All right. You're deserving of it. Just keep saying, I'm deserving of love. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to have, and eventually it's going to happen. All right. Just have that faith in yourself. Ty got 11 months. Got 11 months. Now, does it count that I accidentally bumped into the person? I'm trying to think. No, the first time when I bumped
It
into
was
him.
brief.
Well, if you don't count when I bumped into the
You
person,
can't change the fact that they're on public property.
yeah, but I did speak to him.
It was brief.
All right. So,
Now, if they came and drove to your house,
well, I remember when was it? That was 2018, 2021, 22. I'm going to be 4 years. 4 years.
I don't count my doing divorce papers. It's something I had to do.
Thank you, Cicely. Cicely says I don't count it. So I will be 4 years. I'll be 4 years. Um, yeah. Wow. I would say probably because you know what? I don't count like post discard, and then the months following afterwards, because I did break no contact around that time that I got the birthday message. So I would probably say April of 2019. 22. So it was 3 years because we ended in 2018. About 3 years. Give or take, about 3 years. Thank you for mentioning that, Stella. Guys, this month, I made up already. I am so fat. I gotta unzip and unbuckle my pants. You know when you sit down, right? And if you're anything like me, I have chichas, okay? And chichas are like little rolls, little stomach rolls. I tell you, I don't have nothing from nobody. I don't give a shit no more. Anyway, when you sit down and your pants are kind of tight, but they kind of like, squeeze it in. And it's like, I want so badly to, well, I'm going to open up my pants when I'm done. But yeah, that's why it's kind of hard for me to breathe sometimes. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, and I'm still going, guys. I'm still going. I've made up May's schedule already. Okay, May's schedule. And what I have done for this month is I have made more one-on-one sessions, and I put a Skype group. So there's one Skype group for May, and the other sessions, besides TikTok and of course the YouTube, which we all come together for. I decided to do more one-on-one sessions in May. The one-on-one sessions will be for an hour, and I'm going to email it to you guys. All right. I'll be emailing you May's schedule so you guys can have, the schedule and let me know, and again, the one-on-one sessions are first come, first serve. I have to be fair with everybody, and you just let me know. All right. And Amanda will keep you updated. So if a slot is already taken, she'll let you know if it's already taken, and she'll, I guess we'll update the calendar as we go along. All right. So, yeah, I've decided to try this month to do some more one-on-one. Please be advised that June 1st is Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Day. Okay. That is on a Wednesday. I will be on TikTok doing a TikTok live for that day. That's actually a date that I'm scheduled to do a TikTok as well. June 1st, Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Day. Please mark your calendars in your phones. I will send a mass email. All right. It's going to be for you guys, just a little something, to give you guys some encouragement, to give you guys, acknowledgement. Okay. Because you are survivors of abuse. You're survivors of narcissistic abuse. Stella, of course you can. Of course you can. I have, guys, yeah, the group chat that I had for last Saturday, I moved it to tomorrow. All right. So if you're interested in joining the group chat for tomorrow, shoot me an email. And that way, when it's time to go on, I'll send you the Skype link and you can join. Anybody who wants to join the group chat tomorrow, just send me an email so we can mark you on the calendar, and we will see you tomorrow, both Amanda and myself. All right, guys. And again, we'll email you the May schedule, and you let me know. You let me know what you guys want to do. Okay, my lovely peoples. Ty, the chat's gonna be at 8 tomorrow. It'll be at 8. Yeah, I had to postpone last weekend's the group chat, but we'll have it for tomorrow at 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's New York time for me. All right. So if you guys are interested, just shoot me an email, and of course, Amanda will send out reminder emails letting everybody know about the chat in case anybody else who's not on the live tonight wants to join us. All right. Sneeze and pop a button at the camera. I'm not popping no buttons, man. I need my buttons. You know how clothes look good on you when you're standing up and you're walking around? But then when you sit down, it's like, and that's how it is for me, guys. I'm okay with that. I'm not big, big. I'm not like huge or anything like that, but you know, I'm a little chunky monkey, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Thank you, Stella. So, guys, thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you for joining me. For those who could not make it, and we'll catch it on the stream. I still love you. I still love you. All right. I will be back next week, same time, same place. Next week, Tuesday. No, Wednesday. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to keep track. On the 4th, May 4th, I will be doing my TikTok live, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And of course, next Friday, same place, same time. You know how we do. Ty, I love you too. So, guys, thank you again so much for being here tonight. I hope you have a beautiful night. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. If I don't get to see you in tomorrow's group chat, that's fine. Anybody else who wants to join, please send me the email. It's kind of like an RSVP, so I know who's going to be there tomorrow. Bring your drinks. I probably will have a drink, so just so you guys know. So bring yours, and we'll chill, we'll vibe, we'll talk things out. And of course, you know, anybody who comes in that may be new get to become better acquainted with the family. My lovelies, have a beautiful night, have a beautiful weekend, and love, peace, God's protection, all that good stuff. You already know how it goes. Good vibes only, right? All that good stuff. I'll see you all next week. All right, guys, have a beautiful night. Good night.